Kim will be here, yeah.
Cindy, Tim coming?
No, I'm just a county board member, and this is,
All right,
I go to board and I have to know what's going on.
we are
But if you got
live.
extra-
We are live, just so everyone is.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah, we don't have a forum.
Yeah, I don't count.
Sorry, Milton, you do not count.
Yeah, I'm not on this committee. I just love to know what's going on. I go to the finance committee too now and try to go to some of the other ones. Because even, Chairperson Olson, Reverend Olson said, you know, a lot of it happens in the committees. And do you know what happened at this committee? Well, no, we're not all at that executive or that finance committee. So I thought I started going to more of them. So he doesn't have to say, well, we all know what happened. No, we don't.
Brian, as soon as you get a forum. We'll be forward. Okay, we are live and you make our forum.
Good morning, Mr. Inner. You're always busy taking care of people.
Now you can call me.
Yeah. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call. Jim will be a little late. I have not heard from your yet.
I have not.
We'll move on to number 3, approval and repair of the agenda. I want to move Brian from USDA up before public comment because he has to leave right after. So if I could have a motion to amend the agenda, please.
Oh. Second.
In favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Approval and repair of last month's minutes. Everybody had a chance to look at those. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, we'll turn it over. We'll jump down to number 7C and turn it over to Brian.
And y'all have the handouts. So we're covering a number of things today. This is for the wildlife damage program. So it's funded by hunting dollars. I don't know how much background you want me to go into about that. There's no county money. Okay. The first thing would be the next year's budget for the program for the county. And this is based on how many people I deal with this year. So it's sort of a lag. And you know, this doesn't happen a lot, but it's proposed to go down 5,487. So that's easy to sell. Yeah. Other counties that I have 4 counties out of the 50 that we cover for our agency. Some went up a lot. So you know, it fluctuates. And again, it's all county and federal money with my salary. So it includes deer donation. Actually, it's not in there. If deer donation is needed, we can amend the budget for next year. That's coming up later on if you want to participate.
Can you speak up, please, a little bit?
Is this,
Yeah.
am I speaking to the public here? Okay.
Speaking to
This is for the wildlife damage program. It's a state program that's covers deer, bear, geese, elk, and turkey damage. There's money from hunting dollars that fund the program. And I'm a federal employee, so there's some federal money as well. The state has a program, the county can have it or not, and the county can also contract with us. So we do, I think, 48 or 50 counties out of the 70 that are involved. So I guess I'm looking if you want to hire us again for next year.
They do an amazing job.
Yes.
Yes. And it's no cost to the county.
Yeah, so we'll need a motion on the preliminary budget. So hire Brian and USDA for next year.
I'll make a motion. So.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
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 Next is the 5-year service agreement. And that's a contract between the state, the county, and USDA, us, Wildlife Services. I did not give you the whole, a copy of it because it's 16 pages. It's very few changes. The only changes were some wording, type text. If you don't want to approve it today, if you want a full copy, did I send you?
You did, and I don't know if I sent it. I
Okay.
don't think I sent it.
So now I'm asking you to approve something that you didn't see. So it's totally up to you. It's a 5-year contract. We've done it for 4 or 5 times already. If you're comfortable with doing that, otherwise we can wait.
Has anything changed in that contract?
Very, just mostly typos, mostly just very small changes.
I've looked over the contract and it is very similar to last, like you said, the same contract that we've done for the last, well, since I've been here for years. So
If the committee feels comfortable, we can act on this today.
Sure.
I'll need a motion then for the fighter cooperative service agreement.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Motion by Tim, second by Nick. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Move on to deer donation.
Your donation, so this is for next year. The DNR needs you, if you want to be in it, to say that you want to participate. That's all it is. I don't know if I gave you a copy of it. It's just a 1-page thing that says, yeah, we want to be in it next year. And the money comes from the damage. It's a good thing. Right now, Phase is the only one. I'm not even sure if they're in this year, Phase processing. If they weren't involved, then you wouldn't be able to have it in the county, which is, Manitowoc doesn't have it right now. You know, if there's no processors that want to be involved.
Okay,
So, right, you would need another motion.
Yep.
Accept it.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
motion by Tim, second by Nick. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sign motion carried, and then we'll move on to the crop prices.
Crop prices, that. But the farmers sign up, I look at their crops and I appraise the damage for the species that they're eligible for. And the prices that are submitted here are just proposals. You can change it to anything you want. I included last year's that were approved. You know, prices are going down, costs are going up, the prices are going down. And it's supposed to be a year average. So any loss that I come up with is multiplied by the crop price, and then I bring the claims in January, February.
Yeah, if we're looking at a year's average here on the 2023 prices, so the prices we see in line with an average, I know they're a little higher than what they are now, but the beginning of the year was a lot higher than that, so I would say those are acceptable.
Keeping the same, Aaron? So keep-
Yeah, I would say keep the same for 2023 is what's proposed.
The motion, keep prices as they're listed in 2023 proposed.
I'll second.
Motion by Nick, second by Tim, all in favor, motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, motion carried.
The only crop that's not on is green beans or snap beans. I'll bring that in with their contract price when I get their information.
Okay,
But we've got one person that has green beans.
And then just, you need signatures,
Yes, on this.
so that'd be Aaron.
And then the last thing I gave you is just 2 pages out of 13 of it's on the DNR website. I put the link on the top, and it's really good information that the DNR put together about what the damage program is. They just started doing this last year, 2021 and 2022, and it's much better than the 1-page handout that I usually give you this. So you can go online and look at it. I'm coming up with a handout that has all the links that instead of giving you paper copies for everything.
I can put that link on our website.
Perfect. That's it for now. Let's set the 90% cutoff date next month. It's just too early to do it right now.
Yeah.
If you want to pass those to Aaron, you can get those signed before you leave.
Oh, yeah. That was a rush and I hate doing that.
no,
I got out of Gaming County and it hasn't been like that where they have the same time for the meetings. And since COVID, we were doing some stuff online, virtual meetings, but now I'll figure out something that I don't have to rush when I'm here. I think I gave you an enrollee list too, if it's in the program. Yes. But that is different than what you see on the DNR website. That's a combination of everything, where everyone would be listed separately by species.
Morning, Kim.
Just to catch you up, Kim, we had to move Brian to before public comment. He has to be appointed. So everything we're. Perfect.
It's not the damn program.
Okay.
Crop prices.
And then, yeah, just let me know exactly what you need for next month and I'll do.
Just don't want to hear anything.
Yes.
Sense.
You might.
Here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
That will move on to public comment. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Anybody from the public that wishes to speak?
Nancy Yutesh, County Peers. I am again requesting, as I have for the last full year, that Tucker Birch be brought in to explain his research, which indicates fetal contamination is responsible for gastrointestinal illnesses found in our region. At the May 23rd meeting, Aaron erroneously stated that he had sent an email to myself explaining that Tucker Birch would not be brought in due to the fact that his research replicated Mark Borkhardt's research. Your statement, Aaron, in email could not be found in open record by the Kewaunee County Corporate Counsel. You called into question my integrity, which is unappreciated, and I want a public apology. At the September meeting, at minute 1:02, 1 hour, 2 minutes, Aaron stated in record that the main reason we are not bringing in Tucker is that the data he presented does not match or correlate with data that Cindy has in the Public Health Department. Did anyone from this committee or the Public Health Department air this grievance and concern to Tucker Birch at the Stevens Point presentation, which I believe all of you attended? At any point in time, did anyone speak to Tucker or have in record the concerns you stated in the September meeting? Aaron, Tucker Birch was not discussed by this committee in May, as you stated in September. You were the only member who stated why this request was being denied. No actual discussion took place. I'd like to hear that discussion. The September meeting seriously calls into question publicly the validity of a USDA peer-reviewed published research. Who are the individuals denying this continued request? Aaron, Kim Kroll, Cindy, this committee. Cindy has told me that Kim Kroll will not put this request on the public health agenda. Enough of the runaround on Tucker Birch. Your claims are not only damaging to his research, but to Tucker Birch's credibility and professionalism. Unfortunately, it is most damaging to those who live
10
here.
seconds.
Unfortunately, it is most damaging to those who live here that would benefit from hearing Tucker's research and understanding the health risks and gastrointestinal illness associated with fecal contaminated water. Bring in this researcher without further delay and excuses.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? Yes, sir.
Sue Weiser from the town of West Kewaunee. Last month, I emphasized the word why in my comments. Today, the word will be maybe. Maybe the members of this committee fail to realize how vitally important our Land and Water Department / Sanitation Department is to the health, welfare, and safety of all Kewaunee County residents. Maybe this current committee fails to see the seriousness of the situation in dealing with the care, custody, and control of the industrial waste, the human waste, and the excessive animal waste being spread on lands in our county. Well, this committee should be actively pursuing every avenue to maintain and employ protective rules, ordinances, and regulations. The status quo continues. Maybe this committee should stop giving the impression that they are acting as a shield for the Kewaunee County CAFO industrial complex. Currently, all but one member have strong CAFO ties. It's called a stacked deck. On another matter, Aaron Augustine versus common courtesy and honesty. Maybe enough time now has elapsed, about 5 months, and you are ready to finally recognize and acknowledge your mistake and send the written apology that was requested of you, as you have failed to produce the email you said you sent. Maybe at a recent county board meeting, I asked them to help you with the apology, paraphrasing a Beatles tune, but you didn't get a little help from your friends. Maybe their sound of silence was too deafening. So do the right thing and get your written apology in the mail before month's end. Put your crisis in common courtesy to rest. And maybe at the end of this meeting, you will please utilize agenda item number 10 and explain yourself. Thank you.
Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? Anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? Hearing none, close item number 5 and move on to item number 6, department report.
All right, so in September, we had 3 manure storage.
Can you talk a little louder, please?
We had 3 manure storage permits. They were all for abandonments. So Stotts, Lebanon, and John Hirschka. That was John Lebanon. 2 of them sold their animals, and we're getting those pits abandoned through swarm contracts. Travis has been busy as usual, so he completed 10 walkovers for a little over 2,000 acres. 8 were in full compliance and 2 had compliance schedules, some clean water diversions, process wastewater collection, and 5-foot tillage setback. So he gets them into a schedule of compliance, and then we work with them to get into full compliance. We did do a joint walkover with DNR on an inspection, and it was a non-CAFO, working with milk house waste and some unknown sources that are getting into waters of the state. So we're working with them to find these tile lines and where this milk house waste is going. We are applying for a trim grant in 2024, and they've already signed that they want to do the trim grant and get a correct storage, barnyard, roof gutters, and some process wastewater collection. We sent out 2 notices of non-compliance for failure to provide nutrient management plan updates. Those were to 2 smaller landowners. And then we've been continuing to work with the nutrient management farmer education grants, working with DADCAP to try to figure out how to take in that influx of people that would normally go through NWTC, but with the passing of Brad Holtz, they didn't have the room. Or they're not going to continue that program because they don't have a teacher. No conservation plans for approval. Public health and groundwater protection ordinance is not in effect right now. Travis is working on chapter 39 updates. We will have some citations sent to Corp Council. I will have that list next month for the committee to what is being sent to Corp Council. well testing updates. So we'll be doing bottle distribution this Thursday and Friday. Monday is going to be the collection day for sampling, and then we'll be bringing the samples to Point on Tuesday. And I think we still have like 70 openings, so there's plenty of openings. We usually fill quite a bit in this last month, but we do have plenty of openings. And I am also working with EPA on funding options to continue this testing for 2024. So they like what we're doing, they like what we're seeing with the different Solarian standards. They're still interested in what's going on in Casco. So I'm hoping that they can find us some funding to continue our well testing in 2024.
Is the Casco area going to be targeted again, or have you?
Yeah, I've been targeting, I've sent letters, I've sent emails, so we've got quite a few of our repeats from Casco. We did get the amber bottle results back. I am not an expert at this at all, and we did have a call with Kevin Masaryk, Tim Kinnard. Aaron and I talked with Kevin Masaryk yesterday to try to understand the results. In essence, and correct me if I'm wrong, we did 20 samples from the village of Casco. I am the only one that selected the 20 samples and their locations, all in the Portland Park. I targeted a lot of them that had really high nitrates, but then I also targeted like that medium range, and then ones that had no nitrates to try to get across the board what was happening. And I'm going to kill a lot of these names. So this was a nitrate source analysis for chemical tracers, and we're just trying to understand the potential sources. So Aaron and Tim, jump in if I'm saying something wrong. We had 5 human hits of aspartate. I think it's like a sweetener, and then sucralose. I'm not a good one. So we had those 5 human hits, but the main ones, the only other hit that we had was metachlor, METOLACHLORESA. So that is the primary source of ag. They can't say whether it was manure or fertilizer. There was 19 out of the 20 had hits for this metachlor. They were all under 2.0, and the health standard is 1300. So 1300 parts per billion, and we were at 1 or under 2 parts per billion. So in talking with the lab, the limiting factor for like health concern is still the nitrates and how high the nitrates are. But again, this was a source of tracking so that we can continue in the direction, knowing that, you know, it's this agricultural source is a primary source that we hit. We can continue to work with the farms and those adjacent landowners. I also want to say that this metachlor is not only specific to Kewaunee County, it's statewide. There is and I can send this out to anyone who would like it. Kevin Masaryk sent an email, and JADCAP did a collection of 401 samples in 2007 and 2016. And they had, out of those samples, they had 159 detections of this metachlor in kind of the same range of background or under 2. So I think that was like up to 32% of statewide testing that they had hits in. So it's not just common to Kewaunee County, although, you know, we have this data now, so we can, the human hits we're going to share with the village of Casco so that they can look into if there's anything with the septic, or not septic, but the sanitary. And then we'll continue down focusing on the agricultural fields because the Metachlor is a primary source of agriculture. So we just got that information. You guys want to add anything that I may have missed? Again, the health advisory for that is 1,300. We were less than 2, so it's still there. Nitrates are still the main health concern because of how high the nitrates are. We're just going to continue to work in the direction of working with the farmers and
I asked Kevin yesterday, one of the questions that comes up in the village of Casco all the time is, you know, everybody fertilizes their lawn, everybody does dandelion care, everybody puts stuff on their lawns. I questioned him, are we contributing to some of our nitrate issues? His answer to me was lawn care usually will go 3 to 5 parts per million, correct? Is that sort of how
with
he answered it?
nitrates.
With
Yes.
nitrates.
Yep.
So that's a question I'll bring up and I'll answer. I also questioned, you know, we asked, is it artificial fertilizer that's contributing or is it liquid manure that might be contributing? Once again, we don't have that answer, so we don't know. And I know the farms around the village of Casco have either stopped completely or they have cut way back on liquid manure, but it doesn't mean that they haven't increased their artificial fertilizer now to compensate for that. So
Yeah,
we'll
and
have
I
to
don't know the
discuss that.
amounts of fertilizer that go on the fields. Or, you know, they follow their nutrient management plan, what's written in there. The last couple testing, the nitrates have gone down, specifically in that new subdivision. It'll be a good test this week with the rain coming this weekend and then testing on Monday. It's actually the perfect scenario for getting the groundwater moving, so.
And I've been watching the water levels in the village of Casco, I know are low because we
Yeah.
have those little wells that
It's
bubble up.
very low right
And
now.
they haven't been running for.
We're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches this weekend, so. So that is what I learned. I am no expert on any of these chemical tracers. I have been I have looped in the health department as they're more knowledgeable on these. So that is the information I have now. All the landowners received their individual results directly from the lab. And they did send this understanding your nitrate source tracing test results as a PDF, which is done through extension and UW Stevens Point. So like I said, I'm trying to learn more with what Kevin sent yesterday for it's called Agricultural Chemicals in Wisconsin Groundwater, and that's April of 2017, Wisconsin Groundwater Quality, and that was done through DADCAP. So that was a study that we were kind of looking at and more information. And I will be talking with EPA on this too. I don't know when our next scheduled call is, so that they can hopefully get some more funding for next year.
I also asked Kevin too in the conversation yesterday as he was walking us through all this, if there was a way to age this to see if this is recent, today's activities on the land or activities in the past, and we can't age this Metachlor or these sweeteners. We don't know if it's stuff that went on today or from the other day, but I think as we continue to do testing moving forward, and I think the nitrates are the biggest thing, if we can get those under control and see those going down with the land use, limiting what we're doing on the land in that area, maybe a benefit. So.
And that's one other question
Yes.
that might be sort of related to that. And you can think about it, nobody has to answer it. I know we've talked about some other things to try after we got these water tests back. And I know at a village board meeting tonight, people are going to ask me, is there a next step now, or are we just going to keep testing? I know we had talked about doing the well levels and doing.
Groundwater modeling,
So,
yeah.
are we still thinking about that? Are we, just so I can inform the village board of where we are, because we're still looking at municipal water. I want everyone to be clear on that. Our engineer is looking for funding, grants, ways that the village of Casco can possibly put in a water tower to try to deal with the problem we have now, which is getting better. Don't get me wrong. So that's still on the table, but I still want to know that's.
So the groundwater modeling will have to be done by a professional. So that will, and I don't know who would be able to do that, if it was like GHD or.
I shared the results with Mike from Dragon last Friday.
Okay,
He needs a little more information from you, but he is interested in in looking at this a little closer so we can continue that conversation. Because I think Dragon was the one that gave us the quote the first time.
Well, yes, and they can do the study, Maureen Muldoon and Dave Hart. I am looking at they can't do a small one like this. But through USGS, we're trying to get a grant to do a large scale, which would cover Casco, but that is long-term, not in your reaction time here. So yeah, that would have to be privately sourced out. And like I said, that's what Maureen said was the quick and dirty of opening up caps if they want to do that. So that is the next step, or because we do know it's the primary source was ag. I don't know.
Okay, just that I have, I have to give something tonight when we're discussing this. With people come in, so.
Yeah.
And, I will continue to push the water testing, and I think that's a wonderful thing that we continue that. But people sooner or later, I get sick of it. They're gonna say,
Yeah.
why do I keep doing it? What are we gonna
Yeah.
do with it? So we have to have some sort of
Yeah.
end in sight.
And with the well testing, like what I've been telling them when they call us yesterday that, we're sick of testing, I get it. But at least it's showing if what we're doing on the surface is working, with the no manure
Yep.
being spread, is it working? So, and it'll be a true test of time with this rain coming this weekend, so.
Are we in this next round of testing, are we gonna test for this again, to create a baseline with these numbers? I mean, is that
No,
a bad
this-
idea or not?
It depends on if we have the funding. So I don't remember what this was. Maybe Cindy would know. Could be 300. So,
For the 20 samples.
for the 20 samples. So that was money out of their, ARPA money. So, but as of right now, no, we are not doing anything with amber bottles right now. Zoning and sanitary report has been busy, so we have 3 soil inspections, 9 septic inspections, 2 existing reports, 5 house numbers. The spreadsheet hasn't changed much from last time. We're working with the citations from Corp Council made an impact, so there's quite a few of them are working with us on getting their soil evaluation done. But I didn't have time there wasn't much changes to the spreadsheet, so I'm waiting for a couple things to get done, and then I'll get you guys the spreadsheet. That's all I have.
For any other? No? No. All right, and we'll move on to cooperating agency reports. Jason is not here from NICS. Maybe next month when things slow down a little bit, I'll see if Barry Googles can step in, because I think Jason has state calls on Tuesday mornings. I'll see if Barry can step in and just update us on things that went on this summer at the NRCS. UW Extension, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. A couple of updates from your crops and soils educator. I've been still attending a lot of the DATCAP's nitrogen optimization grant program. They are hoping by the end of October to have the next grant cycle open. 2023 was the first year of this program, and basically producers can apply to do their own on-farm research, and over 2 years, they can get up to $50,000 per producer. So sometimes they come together. And that nitrogen research it includes a variety of crops. It can include commercial fertilizer or manure. It can be as simple as just having a no manure strip and a manure strip. It can include cover crops, lots of different projects that come through. And then they are working with Extension has a staff person that then helps them make sure that the setup is correct for the research and that they are then turning over that data. So then we have this pretty much statewide, and then have the opportunity because in our region, we didn't really have anyone. So I'm still really trying to encourage it. That's why I'm attending a lot of the meetings to see if we can, possibly get a farmer-led group or a crop consultant to grab onto it, and then have some projects in our region. Also, some different things that Extension's been working on. We've had a lot of planning meetings for some upcoming winter meetings. Extension has one that will be in Madison for all of Extension staff. That will be headed down to Madison early November. November 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Sorry. Is Badger Agronomy meetings, and they have the theme this year for sustainability and innovation. And that includes the state specialists. Will travel, each of those dates is in a different region of the state. The closest one is on the 28th is in Fond du Lac, or the 29th is in Stevens Point. The other ones are either in southern Wisconsin or western Wisconsin. And they'll have the state specialists sharing information on anything from weeds to some of the markets, and then always having that theme of sustainability and innovation. December 7th and 8th is now the combined together Wisconsin Cover Crop Conference with the UW Discovery Farms Conference, and they've renamed it the Wisconsin Water and Soil Health Conference in the Dells. And then we've also started some planning of the meeting and presenters for the Wisconsin Agribusiness Classic in January. So Extension has a role with that, with all the state specialists. We kind of take input from our regions and try and give that to the committee so that they can have and pull in good speakers, not just from our state, but from surrounding states too. I have been asked to start attending Matt Ruark's science lab meetings with my previous background in industry and through the testing laboratory. It's been really a good thing to hear their research and then kind of help direct them a little bit too. Like, hey, we want more tools, you know, that farmers can use. So try and add that to your research. So that's been really fun. We meet every Monday. They're just starting to dive into some of the graduate students are preparing their presentations. So to hear the work that they've been trying to wrap up as they harvest and stuff has been really fun. I did put out 2 recent bumper crop videos through the nutrient and pest management group. One of them is just talking about why farmers should test their own manure instead of using book values in their nutrient management plan, just because of how variable manure can be. And if there's any type of manure technology being used on the farm, the book value isn't as useful to them. And then work with Erica. She and I have been really, I think, ramping up the social media and like sharing different timely topics in our region, and as well as events that we've done. Previously in September, we held the very successful corn silage dry down events. You know, farmers only get one opportunity to harvest that at the right time so that they then have good quality and quantity feed. So those events were well received, and we even heard from the second one in Ryle Creek, where the lab was actually there and the results were turned out that same day, that was the biggest one that he had done. And he starts in Iowa and he moves his way north, doing those all throughout the harvest season. Also participated in a local field day with other crop and soil educators just over in Brown County, or just over the edge in Brown and in Shadow County, on biological products that farmers can use. This can help farmers reduce the amount of nitrogen that they might use by using a biological. And so by having local field trials to show, you know, did it work in a really dry, you know, variable rainy season. And so it was set up by Scott Royce, and I think it was a very good, interesting thing. It's going into its 3rd year of research. So, and then probably the last thing is I've scheduled pesticide applicator training. There'll be an in-person one in Brown County, and then with Glenn, and then we'll have a virtual site on March 28th in Door County for people that have to get their applicator license renewed, or if they're brand new, they can come to the training as well.
Can you send me a lot of those? Can you send me those dates in an email?
Yeah.
And I can just.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
You know the date for the Brown County in person one?
Not quite yet, because the date that he originally wanted to use, the room was taken, so he hadn't followed up with me yet, but he's still working on it. But yeah, I can share those.
What was the date again for the?
December 7th and 8th. And it's in the Tells of the Kalahari. They have an early bird registration right now. We're gonna take advantage of that.
Is there any YouTube or reference materials from the biological meeting in Shawano?
I have some handouts that were available. And I can email that if anyone's interested. Yeah.
Yeah. Has Erica finished the copper sulfate? Is that
Yeah, she's
report
been
quickly?
doing a bunch of presentations that, like, I
Yeah.
think she did one for Iowa. And then, I think when she was just recently at another conference for dairy, she presented it again.
Yeah, maybe next month, see if we can get her on the agenda. Do
Oh,
a
yeah, I'm sure
presentation
she
on
will.
that study that she did in the last probably year and a half, I would say she's
Mhm.
been working. Another question? Seeing none, we'll move on to 7D. We don't have any state legislators here. Other agencies or organizations. One comment I have on other agencies or organizations is I've been paying attention to the Great Mighty spraying in Arlington. And is that Bay Lakes that was in charge of that or?
Glacial Land.
Great.
So we have
Land.
a DNR grant with partnership with Glacial Land. So our office is working directly with them. They hired, we helped send out the letters. We're targeting the 2 townships that are closest to Lake Michigan. And yes, spraying started, they're using Stantec. So they had to, we sent out letters. Or landowners had to provide their okay or approval for that to happen on their land.
Yeah, the only concern I have, and I don't know if we reach out to Glacial Land, but it was a pretty poor job done by Stantec. There's a lot of areas where just a little patch is killed, but I mean, we're talking patches places like
Yeah.
this room that.
It's Jake Devine. He's in charge of it all. Yes,
And I don't know if they come out and do resprays or if it's too late.
I
to
think
seize
they
it now or
do
not.
double sprays, but I'm not sure on that whole process as Glacier Lands. The lead on that.
Other matters to discuss, number 8. If anybody has anything else they would like to bring up?
Aaron, can we, and I know maybe this is the next thing. I know we had talked and I think there's some talk about a nighttime meeting, just that we address it. I know I haven't been here for a couple of meetings and I've been asked a few times.
So I have set up the educational well testing meeting with Kevin. We have to push it to January because he cannot get here in December. So January 17th will be the education seminar, and that will start at 6. It's a Wednesday night. So if we wanted to do a night meeting, we could do one at 5, that January 17th, if we wanted, so that we're just at one meeting. And we haven't set the December one. So November 7th at 8:15. December's not set yet. And then, like I said, January 17th, but that's a.
Yeah, so we'll move into scheduling future meetings. Let's do the December one and then we can talk about the January
So the
one.
second Tuesday would be December 12th. That would be at 8:15 if you want to stay with what we have.
Oh, that works.
And then, like I said, the education results meeting is January 17th at 6 p.m. right now. So it's up to you guys on what you would like to do for a meeting.
That,
That would make sense if maybe 5 o'clock is too early for you guys in January.
January, I can make 5 o'clock work.
I'd like to try to continue to do some nighttime meetings, so we do our best.
Yeah, I'm fine that I'm free.
Christina, that's the A-line conference, 17th.
It should be the week before that.
Yes, I think if we tentatively set it for 5 p.m. on January 17th,
5 p.m. January 7th.
and then we can tie that with Evan's presentation with the results back from the October well test year.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yep, December 12th and then January 17th.
Then we'll move on to chairman's wrap up. I'm just going to address one of the comments that were made today in the public comment on Tucker Birch. I will say this for the last time. I will not be bringing Tucker Birch in to speak at this committee. And I am not going to address this situation anymore moving forward. This is 3, 4, 5 months in a row that we've talked about this. So as of now, this is a dead issue with Tucker Birch. So that's all I'm going to say during chairman's wrap up. So with that, I'll be looking for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Tim, second by Nick, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.